it down. If there's not, I gotta open it, close it, whatever it is.
Yes.
Angle, yeah. It's not designers, but it matters.
But yeah, it's just kind of right.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the October 21st, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. I think we expect one more attendee along the way, but we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 6 p.m. I want to go ahead and first do roll call. We'll start off to my right, please.
Jackie Edmondson.
Alex Wallach.
Jeff Moss.
And I'm Thomas O'Brien. Welcome, everybody. First order of business of the evening is approval of the September 9th, 2025 minutes. Once again, I'll remind everybody, you still vote even if you weren't at that meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review and confirm the contents are square with what you believe happened there? If that is the case, may we please have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 9th, 2025 Planning Commission.
All right, Commissioner Edmondson moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Wallach seconds. Hearing a motion in a second, is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the motion, raise your hand. All opposed, like sign. Do you want to get in on this, Commissioner Brown? We're voting on the minutes. Do you want to go ahead and have your vote registered? Okay, so it's unanimous. We've got 5-0. The motion carries. Minutes are approved. Do we have any organizational and procedural items?
I have one quick update. The comprehensive plan that you have now seen a couple of months ago, and I think you had made some requests for changes, was approved by the City Council, was transmitted to the Atlanta Regional Commission, to the Department of Community Affairs, received their approval, and then was adopted by the City Council this month. So as of now, we have a new comprehensive plan. That's the 2025 to 2045 comprehensive plan.
How extensive would you say the changes are from what we handed off to council?
So the changes were mostly around the multifamily use. The multifamily use generally went into the yellow district, so it got moved there. And then there was one category, which is I think Brook Run Park was taken out of its own category and was put into the general residential category.
Okay, so if Brook Run ever reverts, it'll become
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other was kind of more resistance to multifamily, just a
Yes.
little bit more, one more hurdle to cross.
That's correct. So
Okay.
in most districts, those will now, we will see with the zoning rewrite, but the policy direction is that most of those would become special land use permit type applications.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any unfinished business at this time? I don't believe there's any. Okay, hearing none, then we will start talking about new business, which is actually old business. What's old? What's old is new once again. SLUP 2502, 125 Perimeter Center West, request for a special land use permit for a drive-through. And I believe this is the Zaxby's property, correct?
Yes, sir. And
All
this
right.
is back before y'all, because it was sent back by council at the September 8th city council meeting. So let me just give you a quick summary again, just to refresh everyone's memory. This is at the Ashford Lane Shopping Center. This is at the abandoned bank building that's next to the Sweet Green and Chipotle, facing Perimeter Center West. So back in July, y'all approved what is shown here on the left. So that was July 8th, 2025. And then between that planning commission meeting and the city council meeting in September, updated renderings were submitted. So this is what was submitted to council on in September. And because there was such a significant change to the architecture of the building, we felt that it was a significant departure from what you all had recommended approval on, that we recommended the city council defer it back to the planning commission. The city council agreed with that. And then again, in the meantime, between the city council meeting and this meeting, the applicant has readjusted their plan and reconsidered the changes to the architecture. So what you're seeing on the right-hand side now is what was submitted to me on October 14th. So on the left is what was recommended for approval in July, and on the right is what was submitted October 14th. So the design is essentially reverted to what it was previously in terms of the aesthetics, in terms of the articulation of the building and the amount of glazing used. And the design of the drive-through remains the same as was previously approved in July. There are some differences to the site plan. That's where you can mainly see the difference. Essentially, they've adjusted the size of the building. My understanding is the main reason for this adjustment is due to the presence of the stormwater pipe that runs underneath the property. So on the left, you can see the building is a little bit longer. And then over on the right, what's now submitted, it's just a little bit more compact of a footprint. But the drive-through remains the same. The stacking remains the same. The sidewalk, the pedestrian access, the patios. So none of that has changed. So essentially what's before you is what was recommended for approval back in July with some slight changes to the site plan. So overall, we are recommending approval subject to these updated exhibits and conditions, and you can see staff's recommendation there. I also have y'all's recommendation from the last meeting, just for reference, and it is essentially the same as we're recommending today. And just an FYI, because this was deferred back to y'all, we did have to advertise for a public hearing. So it's technically a public hearing this evening. So just after our presentations, just as a point of procedure, just make sure to open that up.
Thanks.
Good evening. I hope all of you are well. I want to explain in detail how we got where we are, because I think as a consequence of what we went through, we ended up with a better project, and we appreciate the city council's help as well as yours originally. As you may recall, when I first brought this project to you back in the spring, I told you that evening that I had just learned that there might be a change in the architecture. I had no idea what the extent of it was going to be. All I knew is that the building was going to get smaller. And something was said to me about there being some kind of sewer pipe or water pipe or something that was basically prohibiting this construction in the size that we had requested the first time. So my client went back to the drawing board and drew new renderings, and bless Madeline's heart for not sharing those with you, because they are horrible. Sorry, guys from Zaxby's. We told you that this was going to be a flagship Zaxby's. It's a flagship design. It's a flagship store in terms of its design. It has a ton of outdoor seating, which will be basically year round because of what we're doing for temperature control. And what we ended up with, due to the expense of the sewer relocation, was a standard Zaxby's, which is not what I had said you were going to get. It is not what my client told me we were going to get. And we went around and around on it a little bit. We actually requested the deferral from the council so that we could make sure that we got with everybody that we needed to get with at Zaxby's. And thankfully, finally, they saw the light and came back around and committed to a design. The only difference between, well, there's a couple of differences between what we presented to you before and now. One is that we're now solid in terms of the site plan, so there doesn't need to be any worry about us amending that in the future. The second, if I'm not mistaken, there actually is an increase in stacking distance. So there it's actually can accommodate 2 more cars. Our traffic study that we gave you at your request, or the DHA's request, actually established that anyway, but we increased it so it is improved. The size of the building has been dropped by approximately 1,000 feet, which is 25%. And that in turn reduces the traffic volume anyway by approximately a quarter. So to the extent there were concerns, there should be no longer ones. And then the last thing we did is across the front. Am I showing this thing properly?
Yes.
Okay. The old plan did not continue with the sidewalk. We had, as a condition of zoning, agreed to extend it up in this direction towards the terraces, but it wasn't across the front of our property, and now it is, so that we have a full pedestrian connection. We're perfectly willing to abide by the conditions that are recommended by staff. And we think overall we have a better project as a consequence. We've also lost a little bit of the red in the design, which I think is probably an improvement as well. So that's where we are today. We do ask for your, again, approval of this project, and we'll take it to council and see how we do.
Thank you very much. All right, at this time, because this is an essentially new business, we will open this up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak in favor will have 10 minutes, and those against will have 10 minutes as well. Anybody here speaking for? Seeing none. Anybody speaking against? Okay. Well, with that in mind, I think we'll go ahead and move toward commission comment, question, and discussion. And we'll start at my far left, please, with Commissioner Moss.
Well, I was not part of this originally, so I tell you what, I'll defer. I don't have any questions right now. Still.
Okay, well, if you do, or if you hear something, by all means, please do. The fact that you weren't on before, your input is welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helpful. So,
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Brown.
Just a quick question from Madeline. I just, if you don't mind pulling up the old and the new conditions, I just wanted to see, again, just clarification on if there's any differences other than maybe exhibit letter references.
No, the only thing that's changed is the references to which documents they are in the
Okay.
exhibits. That's the only thing that's been updated.
Great, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, Commissioner Edmondson.
I just had a question, and it probably is just because I need a refresher since it's been a few months. I guess my question, and I don't know who it's to, but if there is concern regarding there being only 4 parking spaces there.
Not like you all have nothing else to do, so I kind of you might have forgotten the details of my presentation.
I
But
forgot yesterday, so
That's
it's
okay. Directly across the street, when this property was owned, it was owned for Sembler Company, and it was a huge mixed-use project, and it became what it is today. From the inception, parking was to be common. There were basically surface parking lots scattered throughout the development, as well as a parking deck. And directly across from this site is one of those parking areas which is to be used in common. We looked at that very carefully because it doesn't do us a whole lot of good not to be able to have our clients participate by way of parking. And it's a very close distance. I did not bring those pictures with me tonight, but hopefully that will refresh your mind. We actually studied how many people are using it, and there's plenty of excess spaces. So we don't feel like that is a concern at this point in time. And we would be worried about it if we did.
Okay, all right, that was it. Thank you for that.
Bet. Commissioner Wallach.
I really don't have any questions.
Okay. Do we need to speak to the sidewalk, or will that be handled through zoning? The sidewalk change, do you need anything from Planning Commission on that?
Not to my knowledge, I believe everything is reflected in the site plan.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, got questions, discussions appear to be handled. Is there a motion?
Sure. I'll motion to approve SLUP 25-02, subject to staff conditions.
All right, Commissioner Brown, Moves to approve, subject to staff conditions. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
All right, Commissioner Edmondson seconds. Hearing a motion in a second. At this point, is there any debate or discussion specifically about this motion? All right, hearing none at this time, it's appropriate to vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hands. All opposed, like sign, and that motion appears to carry 5-0. Thank you. All right, we are sailing tonight. Going for perhaps a new time record. Other business? Public comment. Is there any public comment? Any commission comment? Well, by darn. Oh, wait.
This won't take long. I just wanted to congratulate the staff on getting the comp plan update adopted. I know it was a lot of work and effort, so congratulations.
All right, with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.